All right, let's do it live on a First Friday Miracle edition of Cleveland Browns Daily. I am merely Beau. He is the great Z. How are you, pal? Is this a new shirt? Is that a new tee you're rocking?
On-air lights on, no button. Again, if they were synced together, that really would be something. If it actually
Here comes the excuse
if they actually
train.
were
Here
together,
comes choo-choo.
it's hard to know. It's hard to know.
Excuse train.
No, now we're good the rest of the show. Now we're
Excuse
good.
train.
I
'cause
think
suck.
it was from last year. It's just it's an actual official, an official Browns tee. Very nice in this, kind of we got some humidity as the heat's going up today and tomorrow. But no, thank you for noticing. I gotta tell you, real quickly before we just to kick off the show, when I was a young man, and we're all young men at the same time. Cheers was a big sitcom, and I didn't know anything like that in my life. Like I never had a bar, even in college. Like you went to Maggie's at Emory, that was the bar, but it was certainly not a place to go and like hang out, spend an evening with friends, anything like that. So I've never had anything like that in my life, and it's been building. But after last night, and of course my buddy Vince is in town, after last night, it is clear to me, the waff, that Spoto's on Mayfield Road, which I've talked about before on this program, which is just a tremendous little family-owned bar. Charlie, he runs the place. He's the best. Great wings, great wing sauce, hot. They have good food. It's just a good time. And I decided last time, like, that's my Cheers. Like, I love that place.
Declaring a spot.
Yeah, Spoto's is my spot, and spot is in the name. S-P-O-T-O-S, first four letters, spot. And I feel like Gibbe has probably got his spot where he's got all of his tails and all of his.
Oh, no question.
He might have like 3 of them. I've never had anything like this in my life.
1 for 3 every
and it's
day
just
of the
a
week.
real treat. It's a real treat. The staff couldn't be better. The bartenders are great. The people are great. We play Keno. This is where my Keno plays. So we got Keno going on last night, watching some of the MLB All-Star game, just hanging out, having a great time. They couldn't treat us better. It's wonderful. I ran into some great Browns fans, some great Clevelanders as well. My buddy that I met last night, I got a new friend who's on Mayfield Road. So if anybody's looking to get a tattoo,
an acquaintance or friend?
Now I feel like I'm, me. I make fast friends. Fast friends.
Did you and Vince get tattoos?
Friends are like
Cole is his name.
Dinner at some point.
Hey, at Spoto's, sometimes you want to go.
You never know.
You never know. He owns, by the way, just give him a little shout out, Impact Ink Tattoo Studio, Cleveland. Great dude.
Holy cow.
There was love in the air as it went around the bar. Cole, it was just a wonderful atmosphere. It was just great. And I just wanted to give them a shout out because I had a great time for a Tuesday.
Amount of name dropping and business dropping off the top of the show out of you. There was a lot going on that you gave.
It was that kind of a night. It's
no
like you
cocktails ever again are paid for by you.
You want to share with. It's just you want to share with me. I would love nothing more than 3 of us one day to have a Spoto's night because it's a delight. It's a treat.
It is a delight. Gibbe, how many do you have? When you walk in and they go, Gibbe.
Oh boy.
I usually do.
Hold on, real quick. Don't say anything. Over under 4.5, and I'm taking the over.
I'm going to go 2. I think he's got 2 go-tos.
I've got 3.
Woo.
3.
Okay.
3 go-tos.
What a legend.
Right in the sweet spot, right in the middle.
By the way, I also know I have been known to put together. I do a little thing called the small town bar crawl. You get a limo bus for the night, and you hit all the bars that hold less than 20 people, and we bring like 20 people in and just flood them, drink all their alcohol in 20 minutes, and then leave.
I love that.
How many of
I have an air horn.
Give them their night.
How many of the 3 have I been to with you? I know I've definitely been to 1.
No,
I haven't been to any of them.
No.
What was the one where we had like the wings and I thought it was one of your places. We ended up having a coach's show remote there. This is years ago.
Razzles?
No, not No, not in the place. It was like next to it. We walked down in like a strip mall and went there. And you walked in and they were like, Gibbe, and you're like, I'm here all the time.
Trolley House?
Yes.
The best wings in the city.
Yes. Is that one of the 3?
Yes.
Okay. So
absolutely.
One. Okay.
Trolley House, Olmsted Falls. Yeah. By the way, I found out now they do kegs and eggs on the weekends. Whew.
Wow. Well, that's what you want in life.
Kegs and eggs. Bishop knows something about that.
Yeah, I've actually done shows called that before.
That's right.
What I think is really interesting, what I think is really great is is that the age of your children allows for you to have a place, because when you have children that are my age, my kids' age, there is no. I can't have my regular spot is my basement. That's it.
Sure.
That's the bar. That's where everybody knows my name. I'm not going out for cocktails 2-3 nights a week.
No. This is
cards.
Let me give a maybe 2-3 nights a week. Mine means that I'm there hopefully twice a month. But I don't go anywhere else. If I'm going out with the fellas, we're going to Spotos or nowhere.
I still think though your kids are still older.
Yeah.
If you had 3 at home like I do, ages 5 to 9, I don't even think you're going out twice a month.
You might be able to negotiate. They go to bed.
Could go
and
out.
I'm going to go at I'll get
got
there
a
at
sitter
9.
for you,
I'll get
Bishop.
there at
I got a
9:30.
sitter so you can go live.
You're exhausted. You're not going out. You put them to bed.
I think
you're just trying to get to 10 o'clock, Coach.
Rule number
You're
76: no excuses. Play like a champion. I believe that you have
for a man
greatness
who doesn't have
within
to get up,
you.
You can do that.
I think you're doubting your own capabilities because once you get there, it kind of
no. I know what I'm capable of.
You can walk into
remember the
Spotos
previous
tired,
life.
and it's a jolt of energy. It's a shot of life. The second you walk in, it's like,
I mean, like Keps is like that.
Yeah.
Like Kepner's out here is like that. That's a place where I enjoy having.
I like that.
I enjoy doing that from time to time. But you can't do it. I listen. The people that do that end up in divorce. That's what happens. I've seen it. I've witnessed it with my friends. They're going to their place 2 or 3 nights, twice a week. It ends sad.
We're talking twice
for everybody.
a month, maybe.
Cats in the Cradle's playing in the background. It's all over, man. You can't have that. Can't have it, man. Can't do it. I do that. I understand why everybody wants it. I know why everybody wants. I mean, it's exciting. It's nice to have a place. So what I did is I'm trying to create that here, so that I can have a place where everybody knows my name at my house.
That's
my
right.
sanctuary. That's the goal. That's what we're trying to do here.
You are the master of your domain.
That's right. That's exactly right.
That is right.
That were you that was right. Cheers was right when it led into Seinfeld, but I quickly navigated over to Seinfeld.
Same.
And then Seinfeld begat Friends. Cheers was my dad liked Cheers. That was like one of 3 shows he watched. There weren't many, like 60 Minutes and Cheers, and that was about it.
I didn't have to watch Cheers that much because I lived with Cliff Clavin. It's a little-known fact that all the fireworks are for your birthday. Okay, thanks, Dad.
Let me ask you this. How much was he disappointed and maybe even disillusioned with the idea of Google fact-checking him?
Oh, changed, complete game changer. And he gets mad if you go for an immediate fact check. He goes, oh, you need your phone? Oh, you need your phone?
Yeah.
Because my dad is very good at saying things.
He still tried to spin it as a strength of his?
100%
that you need
authority.
your phone, even though he's like, it could be wrong?
Well, right. He doesn't want that checked. The knowledge he learned this studying in school, getting his master's degree in Shakespearean lit.
Amazing.
Which has a wide range of
So
applications,
great.
I'm told.
That's incredible. That is absolutely incredible. Good stuff. I had a quick anecdote. So yesterday somebody said that they wanted to get an update on Bootsy. Bootsy's having a tough summer. It's a tough summer for him. He's challenging a lot of authority and going into even more so than before and really pushing the envelope. So he's been in various timeouts and just love him to death. Wonderful boy. But he is pushing his limits. And we had a moment last night. So like you, I played in the video game world. I played quite a bit of FIFA back in the day, and I actually think it's my favorite sports gameplay. Just the gameplay of it, I think, is the most fun. I think it's the most fun head to head. And I didn't play soccer, watched it casually, but I just love the gameplay of it and think it's just fantastic. So the boys on the Game Pass on the Xbox thing there, they can download games, and then they can play them off the Game Pass. So you're probably aware of this. I was unaware.
Sure.
So they Gran Turismo, these games are now, Forza, all this stuff shows up. So yesterday I went down there. After the show, I went down there and I saw that we had a little FIFA. I said, well, I'd like to play. I like FIFA. I'm going to give that a shot. Here's how I'm going to burn a half hour. So within 7 seconds of me firing it up, Bootsy comes sprinting down the stairs to play. And he goes, "Oh, I'm going to play you. I'm great at this. I'm great at this."
Yes.
So I go, "Okay, all right, let's play. Let's go. Okay, you want to play? Let's play.
Oh,
let's play a
boy.
little FIFA, son." Oh boy. So we saddle up. I was playing with I think I was Man City and he was Real Madrid or Liverpool or something, doesn't matter. Well, I haven't played FIFA in 15 years. Here's the deal. It's pretty similar.
Yeah.
Pretty similar to what it used to be. There's not a whole lot different. A couple of buttons different, but
Get
that's
a run
about
up
it.
the outside, pass it
blow
to the
the
middle,
game.
score.
That's right. So I start putting on a clinic on the poor kid. So about halfway through the second half, he's just flailing on the couch, just flailing. I stink. Instead of saying horrible, he says, "I'm torrible. I'm torrible. I'm torrible," he keeps saying. It's amazing. So I said, "No, you're not. You're fine. It's just, that I'm okay, and I've played this before." So I ended up beating him 9-0, and he goes, "I'm torrible. I had no idea you were good at this." And I said, "That's right. That's right. That's exactly right. You didn't know, and you still ran your mouth." So there's a little lesson here, son. When you come in here in the bull ring, sometimes you get the horns.
That's right.
Boots. And then I proceeded to whip the other two as well in the FIFA. And I contend that it's still the most fun you can have playing a sports video game.
It's a great game.
Is the FIFA. It's so much fun.
It's a great game. It is. It
so
was
good.
I mean, that funded a lot
So
of
good.
my college. That was, I mean,
Oh, that's right.
in our fraternity house, we would
That's
have,
right. You had going.
you know me, what do I love more than a bracket and a tournament? So we would seed it. We would have drafts for the club that you got to select, and then we would go and have these cash tournaments in the fraternity house. It was FIFA, Madden.
Great.
FIFA, though, was the number one. FIFA, it felt like people who didn't play other video games, at least for me at that time, 97, 98, 99, 2000, in there, they played FIFA. FIFA was so hot. And I haven't carried FIFA on after college as much as I wish I did because I don't have anybody else that I know currently that plays it. But if you do, I'll get on the pitch with
I
you.
think it is this. Oh, yeah, it's fun. I'll tell you what. I think it's really responsible for the explosion of the sport in this country. I do. I think that game, there's like 7 million people watch the Euro final on Sunday. It's an accessibility. Kids grew up, they know the players, they know the clubs, they follow it, they play it. I think it's a big part of the growth. Did you watch the All-Star game last night? Did you watch any of it? Do you have it on?
As I said, it was there while we were at
name?
Spotos. It was on the TV. I saw a few. I saw Vlad Guerrero Jr.'s bomb. I saw him almost. Thank God he didn't, but almost took Scherzer's head off. So I saw some of the highlights. Ohtani got the win, right? Ohtani got the win as the pitcher in one inning of work.
I mean, I watched. It was on a little bit. I did a little fire pit, so I had it on through the window. I was kind of watching, keeping an eye on it, and I saw like Joe Buck interview. I thought that was kind of interesting how he's interviewing the guys in the middle of them playing.
Yeah,
and you got to hear guys speak who I normally wouldn't hear speak. I know a lot of people are upset about the uniforms. They were a little silly, but like I'm not going to crush everything that happens. I don't care that much. I other things to be worried about. But yeah, it was fine, and but other than that, there was a time when it was something I so looked forward to all summer, and I don't anymore. And my kids didn't ask about it. Like they weren't like, "Oh, is this the All-Star game?" They didn't really care.
We first got season tickets to the A's in 1987, which was McGuire's rookie year.
Okay.
Because if you got season tickets, you got tickets to the All-Star game.
Oh.
The All-Star game that year was in the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. And we sat in the top row in right field, and SR-71 Blackbird went over our heads. And, you got to see the Legends game, and you got to see all the festivities, which my dad loved the Legends game at the time that they used to do. But that's why we got it, to go see the All-Star game. And it was a special thing. I wish that I could recapture. I have friends like my buddy Scotty Monaco and the Monacos. They love the Tribe still. They love baseball, and people there are still diehards. I mean, I loved it as a kid. I played it. I loved it.
I did too.
I used to go. I have scorebooks sometimes when we go to the games. I loved the game, and it has a little, I think, and I'll say for my personal flaw that I guess ADD-ness, in that it's just too slow for me now, whereas I used to really love this.
It's not
the game.
Yeah. I think you have it. I think that there's a lot to it. It's still a great thing to go to live.
Yeah.
And I appreciate,
Love
and I think the people that we have, for example, on television here do tough TV watch for me. It's just a tough TV watch. I mean, football is the perfect TV watch, and baseball was a sport that was at its peak with radio, and you'd hear people describing games, and so that was part of it. But yeah, no, I with my kids, there's just there's no push. For them, it was on, and it wasn't like they were dialed into it, and they all kind of gravitated away from baseball into lacrosse a little bit. NBA back at it tonight, Game 4. Gibby wants to know, should the NBA season start on Christmas and go through July like this? Do you like it this late, still going?
I prefer it. I like it because it gives me something to watch right now, and it's going to basically lead me, carry me all the way to training camp.
Right.
So that I like. Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it running into July. I mean, it used to be over the first week of June would be the kickoff of the NBA Finals, if I'm not mistaken, that Thursday before the first weekend in June. So we're a month behind. I just like that it's going. I'm actually excited to throw it on in the background tonight. Big Game 4. So I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I'm more excited about anything, though.
I think I was
just going to say, I'm more excited about the fact that tomorrow the Open Championship starts. I mean, that is – so I don't really need the finals this week because there's nothing better than waking up Peter Allis.
I love it.
Little British Open. The Open.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know we're going to talk about that a little bit later as well. Maybe we'll pick our guys and have a little fun with that. I agree with you. I guess what I was going to say to sum up the NBA's decision, I think it probably benefits them more to start in December because they get lost in October, November. They're totally they basically lose the first 7 weeks of their season is gone, and no one's paying any attention to it past opening day.
Right.
So they probably benefit more from that, but I don't know if they benefit as much on the back end. I don't know that it's any more talked about now than it would have been if the finals were the first week in June. To me, it feels about the same.
Same.
Yeah, kind of where I am with that. So we're gonna have a little fun. We'll do a little. Is this the stakes on this? Have you heard this? The stakes on the bet. Did you own a silk shirt? Have you heard this?
No.
Did you see this? If Gibby is proven right, and the numbers that they're asking us to put our money where our mouth is.
Who was they? I like it.
The betting backs him up. If the betting backs Gibby up, if forever will be higher or lower.
Oh, I did see that. That felt very much. I didn't even respond to that because I figured you would respond to that. You were tagged in that one as well. I saw that on the social. I'm fine with that because one, it would say to me if that happens.
I'm so confident
that they're right. There's no way we lose this bet. It's just those are the facts of the matter. So if we do, knowing the stakes ahead of time, it just says that people love Gibby and they feel bad for how Better or Worse has really taken off, and they want to try to give Gibby back his original. I think I just did. I think it's been spun.
What is the question? How are we wording it?
If you are a child of the 90s, did you own a silk shirt?
We got to leave it. I think it's more a question for the fellas. Like a silk blouse doesn't count.
Yeah,
This is
for sure.
Yeah. If you're a young man.
If you are a man who is a child of the 90s.
That's right.
Did you own a silk shirt?
That's right.
That's the question.
All right.
And if what's the number that gets us the win and gets him the win?
25%, 26% wins for us. 26% of people. We can't lose unless people are.
Yeah.
This Gibby's got everybody he knows putting in votes.
Everybody at the trolley house.
That's right, the trolley house.
Because I know the bar's full right now at 121.
The Ostertag fan club.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
All those people have got to get involved. All right. So we will play It could be the final edition of Better or Worse. It could be the final edition of that if this vote goes Gibby's way. So you have that to look forward to, which is very, very nice. We'll continue our 10 biggest questions leading into the start of camp. You have that to look forward to as well. Have a little fun with you here on a First Friday edition of the program. Those were your OBM Hot Topics, Ohio Business Machine, preferred copier provider of your Cleveland Browns. All the X's and O's for your office. Call 216-485-2000. Visit ohiobusinessmachines.com. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Imagine kicking back in the evenings in your very own hot tub. Now imagine actually being able to afford one. Northeast Factory Direct says hot tubs by the truckload. You get a 6-person hot tub, a lounger, and the lights, and you can still afford the rest of your summer activities. Think about owning a hot tub. It'd be a pain. Well, not at Northeast Factory Direct. Their hot tubs come with exclusive hardtop covers. You don't have to worry about safety or convenience. If you're looking for a way to stay active, they have these amazing swim spas right now. Stop in. Take your photo with Flat Alex. Get a chance to win a $500 gift card as well. Just take Northeast Factory Direct or Facebook on Instagram as well to be entered into that drawing. And you can check them out, Cleveland, Euclid, Macedonia, northeastfactorydirect.com. They will take care of you the way that they take care of me on all of those fronts. Did we talk about well, I want to get the rankings here in a second. Did you see the did I talk to you about going to Cedar Point? Have we discussed this?
I don't believe so. I feel like I would have remembered that.
I went. Yeah. So we took the boys, and there are a few things as gratifying as seeing like the guts of your kid try to overcome his fear. Like they were all various levels of fear at the rides, and they obviously have everything you need at Cedar Point. But God bless. So we went on some of the roller coasters with my oldest, and one of the things that was amazing was I could tell he was nervous in the line. Like I knew that he wasn't crazy about having to do this, right? And yet he also didn't want to be admitting fear, right? Because I'm a man. We're going to do it. I'm not scared of anything. So we didn't get to the biggest ones. The lines were pretty long, but we ended up sitting, and it's probably my favorite one. I've not ridden Steel Vengeance yet.
Steel Vengeance is
probably I've heard it was out when we were there. Like it wasn't operational.
Sad.
But probably just from a pure roller coaster standpoint, I love Maverick. I just love the setup of the track. I love how it makes you think opposite of what you do. So I was excited to take him on that.
Great.
And it's not as high as like Millennium or Magnum or any of that, but I just think the way that it's set up is so elite.
Top 4.
So we were going on it.
Mm-hmm.
And he acts like he was so excited to do it. We get in it. We're screaming. It's great. It's awesome. So I go and get the photo after, right? Because I want to see the photo. Because I'm like, this is his first kind of like big coaster that he rode. Because they missed our picture on Magnum. So we get the photo, and he's just like this. Eyes completely closed. Teeth clenched. He said, well, I go, you have fun? You like that? And he goes, Dad, a trick. I just close my eyes, and then it's just over quicker. Well, it's more fun when you get to open them down the road. It'll be better.
Yeah, get the whole sensory experience. That's it's
great. So you did Steel Vengeance?
Oh, yeah.
Did you do that last summer?
That was it would have been the summer of 19.
That thing looks formidable.
It wasn't last summer. It was 2 summers ago. Last summer, I think. I don't even know if we could wet our beak at Cedar Point last year with COVID. So
that's right. I saw you. Yeah, you were. That was when you were. We saw you up there, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Steel Vengeance is great. Maverick is tremendous. It was It's an unbelievable park. I mean, it is as good as it gets. My buddy Zach Ryder used to be Zach Ryder in the WWE, now Matt Cardona, and Russell's in the Impact and on the Independence or whatever. He was in town, and he has a couple of podcasts, and one of them is called the Major Land Podcast. He lives in Orlando, and so he does theme park podcasts because he loves Disney and loves Universal Studios, and will kind of do these podcasts about the parks. And when he was here, he went with the Monobros up and George to Cedar Point and did a pod on Cedar Point, and he loved. I mean, what's not to love? Steel Vengeance is probably the best. I don't think it's hyperbole to say it's the best coaster in the world right now.
That seems to be the case. I was unaware of the accolades, but then I've had other buddies who said that they've because Millennium was always viewed as like
Steel
Vengeance the benchmark, and
another level.
I've heard it's better.
Yeah, because you've got corkscrews and loops, and it's built like an old wooden roller coaster, but it's not. Hence the steel of the Vengeance.
Yeah,
it's an experience. It's unbelievable. Yeah. The ones that I don't like, if there were pictures of me, are the ones that just the straight drops, where you're sitting there like at Hollywood Studios, the horror where you go in that old hotel and all that. And they're sitting there dangling you and you're bouncing, and then you just. Those are the ones where I'm like, I don't like any of that. That's not. Yeah. That's for me. Give me a coaster. I can't get enough of Top Thrill Dragster. I know that it's brief. But the rush you get, and then the up and the over, and it's great. And
have
Bryce,
you ever gone backwards on it?
No, because we made it over every time.
If you don't hit the hill at 122 miles an hour, you're coming back, and they got to refire you.
And they refire you.
It's happened to me twice.
No.
It's actually
I had one, though, where we were, basically stopped for a second on the very top, and I was front row for this particular one. So you're leaning over the apex, and you need just to get another inch to get enough over the top so the weight gets enough to the front, take you down. But we were sitting there suspended for a second looking
straight down.
Yeah, that was not choice. But once you lived, it was great. Forget about it.
That happened. The only time that I've ridden that ride is what you just explained happened at the top. Amy and I were on it, and you come out of it a little at the top.
Oh yeah,
you kind of
sure
pop
do.
out, and then you kind of stop. And I was like, so I would never go on it again. Like, I don't know if I could do it again. I was so disarmed by the fact that I was out of the seat and then stopped. Even for a millisecond, it feels like 10 years.
You're right. You contemplate some things. Some things will go through your head while you're up there.
That's right.
That you're going to think about. My kids and I, though, and Bryce was. This is so 2 years ago. Bryce was 9, and we did.
So that's how old Pate is.
Yeah. We did Top Thrill because I guess on that particular day when we were there, people were into everything else, and you could towards the end of the night, we were able to just sit on it. They weren't even making us get off, and we were just like, fired up again, boom,
run it back,
fired up again, boom, let's go, because you kind of just come around. They actually made you get out, walk across the platform to get into the next train, but we weren't waiting. It was just go, 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 go. We probably got 8 in at the end of the night, and it was awesome.
See, I like the idea of that. I think that would be fun because you could almost right back at it, and then it would become, Now, that place is unbelievable.
Unreal.
It really is, and it wasn't crazy crowded. We waited for a while for Maverick, but a little about an hour. But everything else was pretty quick. It's a really awesome place. We're lucky to have it.
When they're older and everybody's into everything and you want to go, it really is worth it. It's not like Disney Fast Pass, but it is definitely worth it to go. And it's pricey, but you got to get the Fast Pass. I mean, that is – otherwise you could wait. You could do 2 rides in a day.
Yeah.
You could be 4 hours into a ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not hard a Fast Pass
Okay.
coach.
I didn't think you were, but I was just throwing it out there.
No.
A man of your statement.
No. I stood in one line and I was like,
Prince
that's
of Hudson.
enough. We got to
Fast Pass, of course.
keep it moving.
That's right.
Keep it moving. Bootsy's the prince.
Wow.
I'm the
by the way,
a warden at best.
It's hard for me to wrap my head around these tales of Bootsy's boldness and transgressions that you have put forward to earlier in the program when you just look at what he has done in these photos down at the Ohio State University, which I'm glad somebody brought it to my attention since we all know I don't follow you on Instagram. But Bootsy, the one where he's got his hand on Pate's shoulder is just in the gym. They're all holding the balls. The pose he's got on is unbelievable. And I like that they're both wearing black shirts. He's wearing red. He's like, I'm my own guy. I'm all red. It's kind of incredible, really.
Look at his shoes.
Even the shoes, but you got oldest all black, middle black top, red bottoms, Bootsy youngest all red. I mean, it's really a stunning coordination that happened, and just his smile when he gets in there with one of the players. He's just he's something else.
That's Michi. That's the great Michi of Garfield Heights fame down there. We ran into him. Yeah, it was great.
Awesome.
Yeah, he did. Did I tell you this yesterday? What he said to Holtman?
No.
The Ohio State basketball coach. Did I tell you what he said? Maybe off air he did. So he goes,
yes.
He's given us all this time, and he was just incredible.
So generous,
Can't help but root for this guy. I mean, he's just the best guy. And he goes, well, what's your favorite sport? And Bootsy goes, football. And he goes, well, what's your favorite Buckeye sport? And he goes, oh, football. And he goes, you are aware you're walking around with the basketball coach at Ohio State right now. Yeah, I am.
I am aware. You can't handle the truth. Sorry, coach.
Can't handle it. Yeah, sorry. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
So bold.
This is NFL.com. They rank their divisions on quarterbacks, on quarterback prowess. So before you looked at this, where did you think our division would be?
I didn't want to look at it so that we could do this on air and I could blindly throw out what I think.
Okay.
So I would think that our division in this is probably going to be 3rd.
You would be right.
Oh.
You would be right.
Okay.
We would be 3rd. Yeah.
So I would have ahead of us in my mind, oh boy. I'm guessing they had the NFC West ahead of us.
Yes.
Okay. And then I'm going to guess, just based on the strength of Mahomes, you're going to get the AFC West ahead as well.
You have it correct.
Okay.
Now, I think there's a 61% chance that you looked at this beforehand and acted like you're
Look
not.
at my
but
screen
nevertheless,
right now. Look at the screen.
61% chance. So this prep sheet's been out for a long time.
Did not
I
look
think
at
it's in play. I would say that this should be amended, and that they are giving too much credit to the greatness of Mahomes, because I actually think that Denver's quarterback situation is among the worst in the NFL.
Fair.
I think Derek Carr is very, very average. And Herbert, while really good, is going into his second year in the league, always adjusts. So I think the AFC West, you get no argument with me on NFC West. None. I mean, that's it. That's it. There's 3 MVP candidates in that division. That's fine. And by the way, the guy we're not talking about is Garoppolo, who quarterbacked the team to a Super Bowl. So you got 4 guys that can all do it. They drafted Lance. That's the one. That's fine. To me, and Mahomes is sublime, but I think that, although as I say this, I don't know who I would push ahead of him.
That's right.
Because some of the other ones are really bad. Like if Breeze was still in the South, obviously I would push them up.
But now you got Brady.
I think we're really close to the West.
We are, but let me just – the reason that I had us third was I figured Mahomes would be ahead in the NFC West. Was my number one, just period, in my mind.
Sure. Yeah.
Ben, little iffy second half of last year. Lamar, can he throw the ball and run this under center offense, drop back passing offense that they're play action offense they're talking about? Burrow got hurt the second half of last year. He's coming off ACL. Baker's great. I think that if you were doing lists, the NFC West has, in most cases, 3 guys in the top 10. The AFC West is going to have 2 guys in most top 10s. We're going to have –
Is that aggressive, though, with Herbert? I think that's a little aggressive.
But, I mean, that's what we do. There's no flaw that we saw in his
aggressive.
first year.
It's 1 year. It's a really good
Agreed.
first year. But, I mean, 6 had a really good first year, and it comes back. You don't know circumstances. He's going to have new coaching with the Chargers.
There's no guarantee he's there next year in this list. But going into this season, yes, I think I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it.
Our worst guy's Roethlisberger.
Yes. We don't have what they would call, even though Lamar won the MVP 2 years ago, we don't have that star power. We're a very good division top to bottom, which is why it's third.
We may not have like the Mahomes.
A top 5.
But we also don't have Drew Lock.
No, but that's why I think we are the most consistent top to bottom division in the league. If you go,
I'll say this. I agree with you on that statement, and I think I would only put us behind the NFC West.
Yes.
In terms of there's no off weeks when you play in this division from the quarterback.
No, and
there's no off weeks.
I agree with that. I thought they would have him. I just thought Mahomes, his sheer power of Mahomes and combining that with Herbert, 2 top 10 quarterbacks and the guy who's the consensus number 1.
Yeah.
That's going to put them in the elite. But after that, it's not.
Yeah.
There isn't another division. The NFC West and us are the only
North
2 complete divisions.
If Rodgers stays in the NFC North, and most of the conversation is that he is going to stay in the NFC North, I think it's the fact that they have him behind the AFC South, which is crazy.
Without Watson, is Watson factored in?
They have Rodgers, they have Goff, they have Cousins, and in Fields.
Dalton Fields, yeah.
Goff and Cousins are both top 16 quarterbacks.
Certainly.
Rodgers is number 1 or 2.
Yes.
So it's about Fields. Compare that to the AFC South is Tyrod Taylor, Carson Wentz, Trevor Lawrence, and Ryan Tannehill. I mean, that's not right.
That should be like 5th or 6th.
Yeah, I would have it. The only one that I think is probably worse is probably the NFC East.
NFC East, yes. Maybe AFC East, but you have the strength of Josh Allen there.
AFC East is not great.
It's terrible.
Yeah, other than Josh Allen, the AFC East is not great. Yeah. But it should probably be 6. So I think ththose probably need to be flopped a little bit. But it's a fun exercise out of them. I think top to bottom we're the most consistent though.
Yeah. There's no off days.
Like we could talk about. It's one thing to have the conversation about Lamar and say, can he lead him to a Super Bowl? That stuff. But on a one-off, that's a full day. On a one-off, I think he's as tough as anybody to play for on a week to prepare.
It's kind of in a regular season environment. He's the most dynamic player on the field when he's on the field. What he did here on Monday Night Football, nothing short of spectacular. He is a challenge to deal with on every single snap, regardless of if the play happens the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. He's incredible. He's on the list of people you would pay your hard-earned money to see play the game because what he does is so spectacular.
Yeah.
It is true.
Agreed. Yeah. All right, we hit question number 3 of the biggest questions leading up to the start of training camp coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. If your Social Security benefits have been denied, call the disability lawyers at 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Elk & Elk, a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Time for question number 3, the 10 biggest questions leading up to the start of Browns training camp. Number 10, there are 10 of them in no particular order. Today's question, who's your under-the-radar player to watch in camp? This is a particularly difficult question for us because everybody's on the radar. So I guess we have to define under the radar. How are we defining that? Like, our list of guys on the radar is like 30 deep. So how are we going to define under?
I defined it as somebody that is not in competition, at least to our knowledge right now, for a starting spot. Like, when you go through and you do the starters on offense and defense, this is not somebody that we're talking about in that role yet.
So when you define it that way, and I think that's a fair way to define it, when you define it that way, my answer now, there's a name that came right to my head when you said that, would have been different than my answer a month ago. A month ago I would have had a different answer than I have now, or whenever mandatory minicamp was. My answer now is probably Donovan Peoples-Jones.
I like it.
I'm very curious to see what this kid's all about. He looked like a grown man at minicamp. He brings a physicality that we don't have in the receiving room. Is he under the radar, though? I don't know. I mean, I guess he's a sixth-round pick. Somebody's got to be.
Sixth-round pick? You're talking about when you say the first three receivers you're expecting to play this year, you're saying Odell, Jarvis, Hollywood, Anthony Schwartz might be 4. So you're talking, that's under the radar. Now,
I guess so I'm in the depth chart a little bit.
You might have been at Spotos last night because I was singing some of the praises of the former top recruit in the country and dropped some stuff that you had told me. Urban Meyer, he was the one that got away. He'd have been a top 10 pick if he went to Ohio State. So I think.
What if when you went to that place, I could be like, when they would have like the little angel and the devil on the shoulder on the Looney Tunes, if I could come with you as just the little guy right there. That'd be ideal.
And which guy would you be? That's right.
Well,
I think it goes without saying. I think it'd be great. I think we'd really thrive.
Have a fantastic time. Yeah.
Boy, would
so
we.
I want to see him. I think he's got a real chance. It looked to me like he transformed his body. I think it's shameful that his body wasn't transformed at Michigan. I mean, that just can't happen when you go to a place like that. When you give a school a piece of clay like he was coming out of high school, he should have been developed. And he wasn't. He wasn't developed there. He didn't get better there. That's a shame. That's a bad job out of them. But he's gotten better since he's been here. And physically, I was wowed by what I saw from him, just the way he looked, the way he carried himself, his body.
He looked fast. Obviously, he's always been strong. You knew that right away from looking at him, but he looked fast. And I think, one of the things that we've talked about so many times, and the players that you and I have both had the opportunities to work with and talk to, your position coach matters. And Chad O'Shea is an absolute stud. And it's probably unlikely that Chad O'Shea will be here for a long time because I think he's going to get another shot to be an offensive coordinator in this league, and deservedly so. But having Chad O'Shea working with him, and to think that this is a guy who is inactive, gets thrust into the lineup, starts the game against Dallas after Kadarius Hodge gets injured in the pregame. His first play is a run block where he pancakes somebody. The first pass he caught with the Browns was in that game against Cincinnati, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And then goes on to catch the touchdown. It's just –
it's the game winner.
Yeah, his first catch. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's a great trivia question. I'm pretty sure I'm right about this. If I might be wrong, I'll go look to verify, but I might be right. I think the first pass he ever caught in the NFL was from Jarvis Landry. Jarvis threw him a ball in that Cincinnati game. I could be wrong about that. But anyway, I'd like it to be right. It'd be fun. But I was talking very much. I'm very excited. And I think 2021, he may still be under the radar just as a function of what's going on. 2022, write this down. If you're in a Dynasty Fantasy League, get him on your team.
Yeah.
I think that there is a good chance. Not a good chance. I think there is a chance, a real chance, that we're talking about him as maybe a starter in 2022.
I agree. Yep. I just remember something that and I can't remember if it was Chad who said it or AVP or Coach. I can't remember. I feel like it was on a coach's show. Maybe we did with Coach, where they were talking about the trust that he had last year as a rookie, and that he knew all of it. I think it was the blocking in the Dallas game.
Yep.
Where
every position.
Yeah, it was in the Dallas game. He got thrust in there, and he knew everything. He knew what to do at every position, at the receiver position. And you go, well, you can't coach that. Either you have that give a damn or you don't, and he does. So I'm really interested to see what he does.
I am too. I like that one. So I'm going to guess your answer from a month ago is going to be my answer. Because you used a phrase that I don't think was a coincidence. You used a phrase in there. Yeah. Transformed his body about Donovan Peoples-Jones. And, of course, that's who mine's going to be. I mean, in the article, it's at clevelandbrowns.com right now. I start off with –
transformed.
You know the answer. If you've been listening to this show at all, you know my answer. Curtis Weaver. Curtis Weaver is my under-radar player.
That's what I love about
watch.
this show, that those little nuggets – Little Easter eggs for everybody. Everybody gets an Easter egg if you pay attention to the scores.
Pay attention to the scores. He was teed me up. It was a thing of beauty.
Yeah.
This guy was the Mountain West Conference Defensive Player of the Year, all-time sack leader in Mountain West Conference history. In his last season at Boise State, 18.5 tackles for loss, 13.5 sacks. There's a buzz about him in the building. We got to see him. We'd heard about the transformation of his body. He looked lean.
Yep.
He looked fast. As Chris Kiffin told us, the guy just knows how to get to the quarterback, and said now he's going to get a chance to show that at training camp. He doesn't have a guaranteed roster spot, so real under the radar, but has a chance to be the fourth defensive end on this team. He's going to be competing with five-star Porter Augustin. If he can do that, I think there could be some packages where we run all four defensive ends out there. Put Miles and Clowney inside, Weaver and Tack McKinley on the outside, and say just go after him, go get him.
Yeah, it's a good job out of you, and of course we know each other well. I think that the tricky thing here is that we have, when you look at this roster, we haven't done this exercise, but we talked about it a little bit in mandatory. How many spots are open? So when you go under the radar is pretty deep. You know everything with this roster, guys. I mean, look what we're trying to grab and scrounge for, because everything's on the radar. Everything's known. There really isn't much unknown to this roster.
Beau,
there isn't.
Here's what we're looking at. Offense, sixth receiver is a competition. Could that be Felton? Could it be a JoJo Nats? Could be a returner. Is it Kaderil Hodge?
Right.
That's a spot
Sixth
that's
receiver.
Eighth, ninth offensive lineman. If we end up carrying 8 or 9, that's a competition. Maybe you'd say third running back, although I feel like Dearness Johnson's in a very good spot for what he's done for this organization, both as a running back and on special teams. But Felton could end up being a guy who takes 3 spots because he's a return specialist, he's a receiver, he's a running back, which makes it easier for him to find his way on this roster. Tight end, I mean, I guess you could say the fourth tight end spot is a competition, but I'd say Stiff Arm Steve looks pretty good in the clubhouse right now. Fourth defensive end. Figuring out who the heck makes the team out of 8 defensive tackles who all have, I think, a legitimate shot to be in the conversation. I mean, your 4 that you would not have penciled right now are Malik McDowell, Marvin Wilson, Damian Square, who's been in the league for 9 years, and Sheldon Day, who's been in the league for 5 years. Like, those are your bottom 4 defensive tackles on paper right now. Linebacker, who makes the team is the 6th linebacker. Corner, who's the 6th corner? Do we keep 5 safeties? I mean, this is what we're talking about. Yeah,
people, you got to understand that and think about it. It was a blink ago. It felt like when you had, quarterbacks, and you're worried about quarterbacks and running backs and DNs and corners and safeties. Starters.
Yes.
Hopefully we can find a starter. That's not where we're at. There's none of that.
We have fewer roster spots. And now look, everybody's in a competition. Nothing is given here. Granted. But likely there are more. We have been doing shows in the past about more possible starting spots being up for grabs on this roster than we're talking about even roster spots being up for grabs this year.
Yep. And even the starting spots that are up for grabs at linebacker, at corner, at safety, those starting spots are those battles will be fought amongst men who have started or are first round or come with incredible acclaim. Like, we're not having conversations that 99% of the league's having.
No.
We're just not.
No.
So, going to be fun. That was a fun one there, and it is. It just kind of it speaks to how strong the roster is. Final hour on a First Friday up next. We'll do. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Gibby.
No. I believe that you're right, except that there was a completion from Baker to him, and it was null. It says no play on the book.
So it's
because there was a defensive
catch.
penalty. So 7:25 in the fourth. It looks like Landry with a 19-yard pass to Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Yeah, and his first catch he caught from Baker was the first play of the final drive. Because it went DPJ when he stepped out of that sack. Hollywood, DPJ winner. Yeah, all right.
Jeez.
So he did all of that in a half of a season, Donovan Peoples-Jones. Over 20 yards a catch, 15 yards a target.
Yeah.
And he's
faster?
Going
to be very fun. Transformed his body. We'll take a look at some wide receiver rankings, do a little better or worse, higher or lower coming up as well. Lots of fun here in the final hour. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. game plan for this season includes buying or selling a home. Howard Hanna Real Estate Services has you covered. Visit howardhanna.com/Go Browns today. Multiple wide receiver rankings around the NFL. We are dealing with wide receivers now. Before we get into this, as I was looking at this list, I was seeing who was number one on all these lists. Are we at, it feels like we have been in a almost 2 decades run of, there's always been a dominant physical presence at the top of these lists at receiver. In other words, Randy Moss,
yep,
Calvin Johnson,
yep,
Julio Jones.
That's right.
Like there's always been, and I'm looking at this now, and there isn't. There isn't that 6'4", 6'5", fastest, highest jumping, strongest guy. Like the guy that would be that is like DK Metcalf is that guy. But he's not considered the best receiver in football. Devontae Adams is number one on these lists. So like our best receivers are not these physical freaks of nature like they have been for really going back to when Randy came into the league.
Yeah, and I mean, Julio, as you see, he's kind of getting to the end of that run. And Devontae Adams plays bigger than his 6'2". The only other one that is really, and I don't even think he's 6'4". I think he's in that same kind of 6'2", is Allen Robinson, who plays like, that big traditional number one. But what you've got here is craftsman. DeAndre Hopkins, an incredible route runner. Stephon Diggs, an incredible route runner. Tyreek Hill, just pure speed. Devontae can run the routes. He can play bigger than his frame. I mean, people forget, at Fresno State, he was playing with Carr. That was a college connection.
Yep.
He goes in the second round, and he was just prolific in college. So was Carr, obviously. But that's kind of the evolution, I think, of the game in a sense that you need guys that can win one-on-one, and it's about creating separation.
That's it. And that's when you look at the guys who have come in, these recent guys, whether it's Judy or Lamb, or the guys in this year's draft, even Odell is one of those guys. Jamar Chase. It's really creators of separation is what the league is going to, and there are less of these big guys on the outside. And there was these guys. Randy Moss was the first in a generation, probably a 15-year run that probably culminates from an influence standpoint with Julio Jones and A.J. Green, who both were so very clearly almost created because of what Randy was.
Yep.
And said, here's a 6'4", 6'5", but there's a ton of them. Who didn't. I mean, the Lions drafted like 5 of these guys number one overall. I mean, like everyone was trying to get those guys, those big, strong guys on the outside. You throw it up, they go get it. And now what we're seeing now is what you said. It's the separation is what we're looking for.
Because you're in, there are still guys, and, you throw out, I would say, even though he doesn't have per se the speed of a Moss, but when you still think of a guy who's going to run verticals, he's going to out just physical you, Mike Evans. Now, his numbers have declined a little bit. It's Chris Godwin, who is the route running technician. We're talking about his numbers have kind of gone up. And you're seeing these guys, it almost feels like the sweet spot now is 6'6", can play big, can jump, long arms, who can still play big, who can back shoulder like a Calvin Ridley, who can still run by you, but then who also can run all the intermediate routes and create that separation. Justin Jefferson, who had a tremendous rookie year with the Minnesota Vikings, fits that bill, and that seems to be more the mold now than, those big, the prototypical number one guys. But I think it's a great you're getting the ball out quickly. You're not taking the 5 and 7 step drops often where you're just going back and heaving it up to your big play guy. You're getting it out quick. You need a guy who can make one move, win, and then after the catch, deliver for you. And I think the league we're in a real, I don't know, renaissance. I just think we were talking about with the running backs. There are great receivers in the league right now.
That's the next place to go here.
It's loaded.
I think there's almost too many. And I do think that the receiver position, I made this point before the draft, that teams are going to start to view the receiver position the way they view running back. that we're not going to invest in it because we'll just draft another one. There's 5 to 10 every year going into the league who could come in and play right now. Jefferson was one of those. I mean, all these guys are going to be that. T. Higgins was a second-round pick, good right away. Like, they're playing in a similar offense in college. The acclimation period is short. They're put in a position to succeed. I think the days of paying receivers at a premium is the days are running out.
It feels like,
unless you're like Tyreek Hill, you run 4.2.
It feels like the pipeline just continues to grow and grow and grow, and you're having offenses
so many.
And schemes and coaching with the ball coming out quickly where your play call as well as the defense are going to dictate where the ball's going to go. And so you have, on these lists, when you say guys who are just pure, flat-out number ones, I don't think there are as many as there used to be. But what you have are multiple guys on a team who are really, really good. Allen Robinson, what he does in Chicago, and I'll always be the biggest Allen Robinson stan around. I couldn't have loved him anymore coming out in 2014. What he's done with crappy quarterbacks in Jacksonville and nobody opposite him, crappy quarterbacks in Chicago and nobody opposite him, is nothing short of amazing. He's one of the last true, it doesn't matter, you all know I'm getting it, I'm going to get it anyway, and I'm going to deliver. Other stuff is more manufactured from just the scheme. And look, let's be honest. Defenses don't have the advantage. Corners, there are more receivers than corners right now. For sure in the league.
Yes.
For sure. Where you feel you have a good matchup with one of your receivers against one of their 3 corners every week in and week out. And so if you could protect, you can buy time, you're going to find these guys.
Yeah, and if it really is. I think the only guy, I agree with you on Robinson, and I think if Justin Fields can be what you think he can be, Allen Robinson will finally be unlocked. Like, he hasn't been able to play with anybody who can use the whole field the way Fields can. So hopefully that works out for both of them. I think the only guy out there, well, there's really A.J. Brown's like this too. It's the 2 Ole Miss guys. It's DK, because DK's this. DK is, from a physical standpoint, he's in that Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones realm.
Yes.
He's not the 6'5", but in terms of just a physical freak of nature who can run by anybody and go out physical anybody, he is that. But this is, I mean, look at the Cowboys. I mean, they got 4 of these guys.
Yep.
That all just create space. Alabama puts two or three out in every draft. Ohio State's got 2 first-rounders on their roster in Olave and Wilson that are going to be first-rounders next year. So there's just so much that comes in. I just don't know that you'll ever have to pay these guys again. Our guys on this list, and I'll kind of give you where they are on all of these lists. Odell comes in at number 18 on Anthony Trish's list. Jarvis, number 21. Both Odell and Jarvis are honorable mentions on Jeremy Fowler's list. Remember, his list is of the 50 league executives, coaches, and scouts and players. So to me, his list feels like the most well-sourced. And he has them both as honorable mentions. He says one of the toughest guys in the league. He's an underrated route runner. That is from an AFC executive on Jarvis, and I agree with that statement on Jarvis. They both get mentions in Jared Dubin's list as well, but neither crack the top 10. And it's a big year for both of them, obviously. And we're lucky to have them both. It's great that we still have them, but it speaks to how deep, as consistently good and / great as Jarvis has been, it speaks to how deep this league is at the position right now.
Yeah. Talent loaded. And like you said, the pipeline, colleges are now they're all throwing offenses. When you get to
everyone's throwing it.
If you remember college one, you'd say, well, Julio Jones came from Alabama. But if you go back a few years and you think of Alabama and go before Odell and Jarvis at LSU and before, Julio Jones at Alabama, and even with Julio Jones, they still were running teams. They wanted to play defense at LSU. They weren't, Mettenberger had 2 guys in an unbelievable tandem there. But it's not like that was a team that you used to think about throwing. Once Alabama and LSU became, we need to get quarterbacks and throw the football to win in college football. Once you got to that point, that's where now you got all the talent coming in from big-time schools, big-time programs that are throwing the football.
Julio only caught 43 balls as a sophomore at Alabama.
That's what I'm saying.
For 596 yards.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
As a junior, when he was draft eligible, it was 78 for 1,100 in 13 games. But they had Julio. They just didn't throw it.
They had Julio Jones in college.
Look at Michael Thomas at Ohio State. Look at Michael Thomas at Ohio State, who, by the way, I don't see him on any of these lists. Tough year for him, obviously. But I don't know that his – I'm pretty sure he'd ever even come close to 1,000 yards. He may have that last year in 2015. Let me pull it up. No. 22, 799, and 781.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it.
So it's just the sport has changed. Now a lot of the best athletes are playing receiver. So you're in a position now where the league has never been deeper at the position, and there's just an absurd glut of talent at the position.
Justin Jefferson in his last year at LSU, 111 catches, 1,540 yards, 18 touchdowns. And they had Jamar Chase.
Yeah. And that's – give me Chase.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we'll get to see him. We'll get to see him twice.
Yeah. No, what did he have in 2018?
Give you
on
Chase.
That team. Do you have it?
I thought you were saying you would prefer Chase to Jefferson, which
Yeah.
I think everybody would. Let's see, Jamar.
Right. Here, I got it.
Yeah.
So 2018, because he was actually the one who won the awards. Jeez. Jamar Chase, 84 catches, 1,780, 21 yards of reception, 20 touchdowns.
Jeez. And they have the guy that went to Carolina as well, who got drafted in this year's draft.
They did. Marshall,
Terrence, yeah.
Yep. Pretty ridiculous. So that's the deal. That's where you are with that position right now. It's just an incredible depth of talent. We'll do a little higher, lower, better, or worse coming up at the bottom of the hour. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Welcome back into Cleveland Browns Daily. Beau here for my great friends at EOX Vantage. And EOX Vantage connects core systems that don't talk. From reporting and analytics to insight and decision-making, gain a more complete, real-time picture of your business. You can eliminate the Excel nightmares from business processes and visualize your important data in one place. Gain real-time insight to make data-driven decisions on performance through role-based visualization dashboards. With EOX Vantage, you can benefit from lower overall costs, better alignment between technology and specific business needs, scalability, ease of deployment, and management. EOX Vantage makes your data work smarter to move your business forward. You're all about growth. Your software should be too. With EOX Vantage, your company will scale effortlessly. It's a local presence but global footprint and trusted by some of the world's biggest brands. Do we have a poll update? Give it.
Yes, today's Ohio Lottery Keep It Fun Ohio poll. If you are a man who was a child of the 90s, did you own a silk shirt? Yes, 50.4%.
Yeah, dude.
No, 49.6%.
And I think we have some people there. I think that it's
31%
really 75
of the 49s are lying.
That's right. That's right.
No, they're not.
31%
You
of the 49s
can't, like, they voted.
That doesn't mean they voted
They're lying.
honestly. They may have voted with their heart.
Yeah, they're lying.
Gabe Warner tweets at the show, my shirt was dark purple, worn with no undershirt, showed the sweat on my 7th grade body really well.
Oh, yeah. There was nothing better to highlight a little
the only
perspiration.
Let's see. Damon Baker, I don't know a person except Beau that didn't own or at least wanted a silk shirt. We would even check the tags to make sure it's real silk. I believe you were on the pro silk shirt.
I said I wore
had
them.
One. Yes, 100%.
I wore them in school pictures. I wore them for basketball games.
Same.
A closet.
It was the dress-up
had
shirt.
These in them. That was the dress shirt.
Yes.
Cameron Savage tweets, it's 2021. I'm damn near 30. I'll buy a silk shirt in honor of Baker Mayfield. Ain't no shame in my swag game.
Boy. Maybe they're making a comeback. It goes inside. It's cyclical.
Here's another one.
I just don't want Zeke Cavaricci's coming back. I'm never wearing those again.
The best is child of the 90s here, and it says 84 in parentheses. Nobody I knew was wearing silk shirts unless they were 30 plus, which included my dad. I never wore a silk shirt until I myself was 30 plus. 2/3 ain't bad, but a quarter ain't good.
That's a lot to digest. 84, though, you might have missed it, honestly. Being born in 84,
so.
You might have missed it.
Yeah, that would have been too late.
You would have been too young. You're in 2nd grade. You're not wearing a silk shirt in 2nd grade.
You're not wearing a silk shirt in 2nd grade.
No.
Totally.
The reason it's not going to come back is what we stumbled upon yesterday. So, Gibby, Z, you said, breathability and all that, and I said, all I said was something to the effect of, and you knew exactly where it was going, the one drawback of the silk shirt was the sweat. That it did not breathe.
No.
It was impossible to hide. You'd walk around like this, like a penguin, because you'd be worried about the sweat mark, the stains. That's why it'll never make a comeback, because of that.
Yes.
And there's no way around it.
I know, but it is.
Brandon Dupe started high school in 94 to new school, knew the only way to make an impression. 9th grade homecoming, I broke out the jade silk shirt.
That's
Jade
right.
silk.
There
Of
was
course
always
I
a
have that
green. You said. I think you even said jade yesterday.
I mentioned jade.
Green,
yes.
wine, a burgundy, a purple.
Yep.
Two kind. An old world wine, new world
always
wine.
those deep dark colors that was always it.
And
then
good
you
dark
always
blue.
have a black one.
Yeah, black. Oh, sure. Who did?
Yep.
Ice cream savant. It was usually rayon and not silk, but yes.
Well, rayon was in the same time frame.
Yep.
You could go rayon. That was all happening at the
No
same
one knew
time.
the difference.
Rayon over the top of
the
Zeke
audience,
Cavaricci
though,
was pretty.
did not wear.
Was a great
So that's
look.
all that matters.
I didn't hear you say that. I heard you say
Alex
49
Winnie,
something.
class of 98, definitely had a few looks that were reminiscent of a chess king mannequin.
Yes. Perfect.
Also,
He gets it.
Getting in on our conversation earlier, Cedar Point tweets the show. We think Steel Vengeance is the best roller coaster in the world, too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Would you like us to come sample this and to give a fresh perspective?
Cedar Point is tweeting us right now.
Cedar Point's tweeting at us.
Well, how about throw the kids, a little
about
something
tag your
for
friends?
for the goodwill here.
Yeah. Tag your friends in there, Gibby. Me,
there's Cedar
you,
Point. We're here taking
Beau.
care of you.
Yeah. We'd like to do
right.
a live review if you would like that to happen. I do a Browns Daily from Cedar Point and then cut lines.
So we used to do an ESPN Cleveland today.
I'm into that.
And all of the shows, it was something that we put together. Casey Koulis, back in his marketing days, along with me, put it together. All of our shows were live from various parts of the park. Logistically, it was a nightmare because literally you had to pack up gear and you were like,
oh my gosh,
hopscotching all over. But it was great promotion. It was a great event, and you could pay for a certain package. Like we did lunch for our listeners on the beach, and it was all catered.
Yeah.
But like after every show was over, they would take you, and they would literally take you in the exit, stop the ride, put you on it. You would ride. You could ride all the rides in 45 minutes. Cedar Point does an amazing job of taking care of talent and radio and TV people.
Yeah, they do.
Listen, I'm all about it.
They're
I'm into it.
They're good.
I will say the one time I had a unique theme park experience, Mike had done an WWE ad, I think, for Universal, and we went to Universal, and we waited zero the entire day. Like, they would just be like, oh, walk through this door over here, and then, oh, hold on, people.
Yeah.
We'll all go get on this ride. We'll ride it, then we'll go there. We didn't wait for a single thing.
No.
I'm like, how could you ever go back?
Good.
I said, no, I go, how could you ever go to a park? I mean, he might not ever have to go to a park normally, but I said, how could you do that after this? Like, it's insane. People
be tough.
Impossible.
Yeah.
That was one of the Potter, Potter rides was like a 3-hour line. Nay. It's just ludicrous. Ludicrous.
That's good. That is fun. All right, good stuff there. This is my favorite major. It's my favorite.
Same.
I know we've discussed this before.
Big same.
I love it. I love how it looks different. I love that I wake up to it. I love that it's golf that you've never seen before. I love that every once in a while you can drive it 370 yards and it rolls up on a par 4 and just scoots on along. I love that the wind changes from morning to afternoon. There's nothing predictable about it, and I love it for that. I love the Open Championship.
Yeah, sometimes you might be 100 yards out and have to chip it with like a 6-iron because if you elevate it at all, you couldn't hit driver to that green.
Yep.
It's
true imagination
yes.
with every shot.
Shot making, imagination, feel, ball control. You need to really be able to flight the ball, keep it low, some stingers.
Yep.
Oh boy, it is the best.
What are your favorite Open memories? What are the ones that you look back on and remember fondly?
I mean, easy for me, John Daly.
Other than JD
at St. Andrews, because that's when I was full John Daly hysteria. I loved him so much.
Yep.
And Constantino Rocca made that ridiculous putt from the Valley of Sin to tie it on 18, and they had to go to the 4-hole playoff they do in the Open Championship, and he prevailed, which was awesome. Maybe it's pretty cool. He's a 2-time major champion. Van de Velde's collapse is still one of the most stunning things I've ever seen in my life.
Is that just a quick follow-up on that? Is that when you think back on sports, that is certainly a Mount Rushmore of if I could just get in this human's head, I could prevent all of this.
Yeah, for sure. Dude, just hit wedge off the tee. Who cares? Make a 5. Make a 6. Whatever.
Did they even tell him on the broadcast? Weren't they like, what is he doing? Why is he pulling driver? I remember watching that one live. I definitely remember vividly watching that live, and it was just, a car accident in real time happening. Like him taking off the socks and getting into the thing, and you're going, my God, what are you doing,
what is
man?
happening?
And then he still forced a playoff, didn't he?
Yes, he had to make a putt that he made and then it was just all downhill. But there are so many, what I always thought, just great moments in the tournament. When Phil won at Muirfield, what was that, early 2010s, 2012, 13-ish, I want to say. Tiger went back-to-back.
Tiger at the club when Tiger won it without hitting driver. Do you remember that? He hit that fairway wood.
It must have been Liverpool. Liverpool, where he went 18 under.
It was that. Yeah, I want to say. I think where are his Open wins? I know he won at St. Andrews.
Liverpool 2006, St. Andrews 2005, St. Andrews 2000, and that might be it. I remember
he's only won it 3 times.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
It was obviously at Liverpool.
It was Liverpool.
Yeah,
he would have hit driver. At St.
He did not hit a driver. He just, yeah. And then the other one that was great was, how about Tom Watson approaching 60? That was heartbreak.
Turnberry, and I love Turnberry. I played there on 18. He just sometimes it happens. You hit such a pure shot. He executed it perfectly. He was just a little amped up. It goes long. Yep. Then he putters it up there. What did he have? 5 feet to win? Maybe 8 feet, 10 feet, somewhere makeable, and couldn't do it. And then who went?
Stuart Sink.
Stuart Sink.
Of all people.
Yep, Stuart Sink in a playoff. And that was as close to par as it's. I mean, it was 2 under. 2 under was the playoff. The year before at Royal Birkdale, Patrick Harrington, I remember this. He won back-to-back. Carnoustie in 7, Royal Birkdale in 8.
Yep.
3 over was the winning score. Ben Curtis, a member of my club,
don't know what's the
1
wind.
under in 2003.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Your boy. You guys are
put an instruction area. It's real nice.
Hangers out together.
Yeah, it's real nice.
Yeah, that's right. There you go. That's a good job out of you. Have you seen this place at all, this Royal St. George's?
I mean, I played it in, the video games, and I've seen the last time it was there.
Have you? Yeah.
Yeah. Last time it was there was 2011. I have all these things up. This is not off the top of my head. Ben Curtis won there, by the way. That's where my boy won.
Oh, there you go.
That's why it means so much
Your
to
boy,
me.
yeah.
Darren Clark in 2011, 5 under. He won by 3 strokes, defeating second-place finishers were Dustin Johnson and Phil Mickelson.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. It's such a random – you can get such random winners at this one, too.
Yes.
Yeah. There a couple of years ago, Tiger was in it on the back 9 on a Sunday at the British Open, and Molinari won it. And he was right there with him and just lost it. I remember he hit a tee shot left and just lost it left and couldn't recover from it. So
that was it.
I look forward to it. I love it. Who do you like?
I don't even have somebody that I particularly like for the event. I just want to watch an awesome Open. I don't care. I really don't care who wins.
Yeah.
I don't have that guy in golf anymore, which is maybe what some people. I'd probably want Phil to win, honestly. Or I'd still love Ricky Fowler to win a major at some point. I don't know if it's going to happen. I feel like we're getting further and farther away from that. But all it takes is one great tournament. By the way, I was just looking at this. Van de Velde, do you know what the score to par was that forced the playoff? This was also at at Carnoustie.
Say it again.
When John Van de Velde went to the playoff with Justin Leonard and Paul Lawrie, who went on to win at Carnoustie, the score to par. Like, what score did they finish at to lead that tournament to go into the playoff?
The total number of strokes that is par, or where they were
relative to par. Yeah, plus or minus.
I'll go -4.
+6, which is the highest.
They were at +6?
+6. Carnoustie's a bear. +6, which is the highest I see since 1947, when there must have been some kind of real wind going on at Royal Liverpool, where +21, Fred Daly won the British Open, Open Championship in 1947 at 21 over par. That must have sent some people into a real fit.
Man, that's incredible.
Incredible.
That is incredible. How many of those have you played in the rotation? I know you played St. Andrews. I know you've played Turnberry. How many have you played?
Royal Troon. So those 3. And then I played Prestwick, which was where I believe the first one was. Yeah, the first, not first one, the first many that were dominated by the Tom Morrises, both young and old.
The old and young.
Yes. The Morrises.
What was your favorite of those 3?
St. Andrews is just the most special place, where golf was invented. I had a magical experience, played great. The bagpipes were out at the Old Course Hotel when we were teeing off on 17, which was just spectacular. And we were the last group that was on the course before the Women's British, so everything was set up with the stands and everything, so you got a feel for that. That was pretty awesome. But for just a course standpoint, Turnberry's incredible. Turnberry is incredible. And you go and you play over there, and you come back, and you're like, these courses here are so not easy, because golf is not easy. But at Turnberry, for example, if you miss a fairway, it's gone. It's
over.
Grass as tall as your head. Like, it's just gone.
Yeah.
It's in the gorse, the fescue. I mean, it's gone.
Yeah.
Like, here you can hit the next fairway over and go hit it again. There it's gone. Goodbye.
Yeah, that's right.
Get another ball.
I look forward to it.
Oh, my goodness. So fun.
It's going to be great. All right, we play a little higher or lower, better or worse coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
You are up.
Obsessing over something like football can be a problem. If you're obsessing over gambling, it can be downright dangerous. So do something to take your mind off it. Find a hobby, perhaps. If you want some more tips, go to keepitfunohio.com for great ways to keep gambling fun. Time for a little better or worse, sweet spot, or higher or lower, just right. Give it.
Tapping that microphone over there. Not too confident, are you? Not
Looking,
too confident in your light turning on ability.
No,
today.
The light's on. Light's on.
I don't know. You're just tapping on it. I don't know what you're doing over there.
Well, getting ready for better or worse, which
right
remains.
Now, unfortunately, I feel
Which
like
remains.
That's going to stick around.
That's right. Not going anywhere.
Sad.
It'd be sad.
By the way, is it raining again?
Not here.
It is.
That's right. Yep.
You guys are?
Yeah.
Oh.
Not bad.
God!
Are we still in golf league?
Yes. I shot a 43 last week.
Let's go.
A lot of plugged drives, boys.
Yeah. Not a whole lot of roll out there, folks.
No, not please.
Tee it high and let it fly, because you're not getting any roll from the low ball.
This has got to stop. I can't mow my lawn. I can't get the zero turnout. Like, it's not a good
Get
situation.
off my lawn.
Yeah. It's almost, with all of the rain that we're getting in July and the complete drought like in Seattle, right? Like Seattle doesn't rain in Seattle. That's impossible, right? Not great. Almost as if the client has changed. Go ahead, give it.
Yeah, allegedly. Higher, lower, maybe. Just right. Compliments
higher or lower.
Analyst and former NFL QB Bruce Gradkowski. His top 32 QBs.
Okay.
First and foremost, he has Baker Mayfield ranked number 10. Zegura, higher, lower, or just right?
I like that. I think he's in that conversation. I think it's in the sweet spot. Could he argue? Could he be? Do I like him better than the guy at number 8? Of course I do. So I'll say he should be better than that. But I like this. Feels like proper respect and acknowledgement for what Baker Mayfield did. And this is what I love right here. This is the sentence when Mike Tannenbaum, for example, was talking about how bad Baker's replaceable and this, that, and whatever. It's only the play action. This is what he needs to read. He was the second highest graded quarterback in the league from week 7 through the playoffs. He also ranked in the top 5 from a clean pocket on standard dropbacks and on early downs for the entire season, all of which are important and stable metrics. Standard dropbacks, top 5 in the NFL. The defense rests.
Bishop?
I kind of agree with Z. I think it's a nice spot. I think that especially for like, obviously I'd have him ahead of Matt Ryan and I'd have him ahead of Lamar as well based on, kind of what we think he'll do and what he did last season specifically. But I also understand that, people aren't watching every snap of his like we are. And for them, they're looking at a 3-year track record that was up, down, up. So they want to see another up. And I think that's fair. I think that's fair. So that's fine. I know what I think he can be, and I think it's higher than this, but I also think that this is a fair spot.
So we're ranking all 32 starters. Let's get into it next.
Higher or lower?
Patrick Mahomes, number 1. We'll go to number 2, Tom Brady. Higher, lower, or just right? Bishop.
Well, I would have him below Rodgers, so I would have him 3 on this list. And
I believe that's lower.
The way that I would justify that is
worse.
The way that I would justify this, that he would be worse than Aaron Rodgers, is just the talent surrounding. That it's just not close in terms of what Rodgers has at his disposal versus everything the Bucs had at their disposal.
It's tomato. I mean, the guy's got 7 Super Bowls. If he was number 1 at this list, even though we'd all say, well, Mahomes is better, he's still Tom Brady, and he still wins big games and comes through, and he beat Aaron Rodgers. He beat Rodgers and Mahomes. Now, your point about supporting cast.
Beat them both.
Valid, but that's what he did. He beat, if I'm not mistaken, didn't he beat Drew Brees?
Yes.
In this
Brees,
playoff run, Brees, Rodgers, Mahomes. Okay. Pretty good. Pretty good. So I'm not going to argue. If he's 1, 2, or 3, I wouldn't argue any of them. If he were 4, I would argue that. And I love Russ, but Tom Brady is on the medal stand. And you can make up whatever order you want.
Next.
Higher or lower?
Russell Wilson, number 4. Takes us to number 5. Deshaun Watson, Houston Texans. Higher, lower, or just right, Zegura? Boy, by the way, haven't heard a whole lot. I'm not sure he's even going to play this year. But he's number 5.
I said that yesterday. It's the craziest thing ever. Like, you're 2 or 3 weeks out, and there's been no conversation that a guy who I think should be lower on this, but no one would not take him in the top 5 if you're redrafting the NFL right now, and there's no conversation about if he's going to play or not.
It's insane. It's almost like we're just
Crazy.
pretending that we're staring at the wall and nobody can see us because we can't see them. It's a very weird thing that's being done with this whole situation. I still take Josh Allen over him, so I'm going to put him at worse.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take Josh Allen over him because Josh Allen's been, frankly, unbelievable. Watson was great last year. I mean, when you go and you look at his numbers, you say, how could their record possibly be what their record was? But Josh Allen has been darn good, big-time games, a little bit better as a scrambler, certainly as a touchdown-scoring quarterback from a running standpoint. So I'd put Allen. But Deshaun Watson is easily a top 6 quarterback in the league.
Next.
Higher or lower?
Josh Allen is 6th. Dak Prescott 7th after missing all of last year. Takes us to number 8, Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens. Now, Matty Ice is between Lamar and one Baker Mayfield. But Lamar Jackson, higher, lower, or just right? Bishop.
I think he's the hardest. I think he's the hardest evaluation. I think he's the hardest to decide if you're going to pay him or not, or what you're going to pay him, or how you're going to compensate him. Because I think he is. I think on a week in, week out basis,
Tough as it gets.
he can be borderline unstoppable. He's the greatest weapon that the game has, other than Mahomes, game in, game. Like, he's so hard, but also in a playoff circumstance where you can all gear up for one, you can scheme it a little bit. And I hate when I'm hearing, from their perspective, I hate this notion of, let's put him under center. Greg Roman did that to Kaepernick. Didn't work. Don't do that.
Nope.
Be him.
Yep.
They say that let Russ cook. Let Lamar be Lamar. Fine for us if you don't. I like it that you don't. So I think it's really difficult for him. If I were to, in his circumstance, I don't know anybody else could do for Baltimore what he's doing for Baltimore. But for example, I would rather have the guy at number 11 if I'm the LA Rams than him by a wide margin.
Yeah.
Does that make any damn sense?
Of
I don't
course
know if
it
that's
does.
higher, lower, better, or worse.
He's the toughest evaluation in that you don't want to play him on any given week because he can wreck whatever you think your defensive game plan is. He's a guy that is a tough call for the organization because what is his biggest skill set and asset currently is, as we know in the NFL, a declining asset. To be based on your mobility and your ability to run for 1,000 yards a year. Ultimately, at some point, you're going to be able to have to throw and come from behind and play from the pocket. As you get older, as you take more hits, all of these things. He's an incredibly tough one. Again, most dynamic guy on the field whenever he is on the field. You could make the case, I wouldn't say one, but you can make case that he's top 5 because of just how dangerous he is week in and week out if you have to face him.
Yeah.
But he would not be, and here's the other part. If you were to do a list and say you're up 6 with a minute and a half to go, they have no timeouts, rank the quarterbacks in the NFL, who you're the most afraid of, he's not in the top 15 of that list, which is probably
flip it, though. If you're the team that's up 6 with the ball needing a first down on 3rd and 12, he's number 1.
He's up there for sure because he's just so dangerous.
Him and Mahomes. I mean, Rodgers,
4th and 5?
Because
if it's a 4th and 5.
He did it to us.
That's right.
Ugh. Suck.
Next.
Higher or lower?
All right, I'm going to skip over a few of these because I know we're up against it from a timing standpoint. Justin Herbert was 15th. Big Ben 16th. Kyler Murray was 17th. All the way
That's
at the
too
end.
low for Kyler.
I thought it was Drew Lock. Is he the worst starting quarterback in the National Football League? Your other candidates are Jalen Hurts, Zach Wilson, Tua Tagovailoa, Sam Darnold.
He's not worse than. I mean, he's bad. He's bad. There's no question he's bad. I didn't like him last year. I don't like him this year. I don't know that. Boy, that's a valedictorian summer school situation when you start talking about Tua and Zach Wilson. Cam.
I don't know.
He might be. He might be. He's bad.
Not great. The person in the 20s here, there are two. Take Lawrence out of it, starting at Garoppolo. Garoppolo could end up, if he plays a full season and does what he had been doing before, could end up in the top 15 easily next year. Jameis, if he lights it up with the Saints, could end up in the top 15 easily next year. And then maybe a Fields or a Wilson if one of them has a crazy year. But that's pretty much it from this
and
bottom
I think you
group.
Could do Wentz too.
You
Wentz
could,
right.
but I don't
mean,
know.
It's
hard for me to. It's hard for me to believe in that.
I know.
How about at the
Goff,
bottom
26.
of this list? You know, we went through the candidates
26,
for worst.
way too low.
Number 26 is Jared Goff, and number 27 is Cam Newton.
All right, and
My,
number
how
25
the mighty have fallen.
Number 25 is Fields. Like, okay,
Yeah.
both of the guys right behind you have gone to Super Bowls.
Yeah.
One was the MVP league, and I'm not saying Cam Newton is who he was then. Clearly, he is not.
No.
But
Right.
Lawrence, you want to put up there because you believe in him that much? Fine. Jared Goff's the most disrespected guy in the league. Now, he may fall flat on his face because they literally got rid of every receiver they had in Detroit. It's going to be
this is not a fair.
him and
you
T.J.
never get a fair
Hockenson.
analysis of him.
Right. But, wow.
Yeah. All right. So much more to come. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, who you got tonight? Bucks, Suns.
I think the Bucks can just continue to bully them, but if the Suns make their shots, they had good shots in Game 3. They got good looks. They just didn't make them the way they had been making them. I like the Bucks get this one. I still think I like the Suns ultimately.
By the way, the nose had it in our today's Ohio Lottery Keep It Fun poll.
Huh? What does that even mean?
Come again?
In terms of did you own a silk shirt?
Yeah.
50.3% said no.
1 minute. 1 minute.
Doesn't matter. 25% was the threshold.
25% was the threshold.
So we doubled it.
Higher, lower remains better or worse.
Yeah.
Sad for you, Gibby.
It is kind of sad.
And then who do we all got? Who are we rooting for at the Open?
I'll root for Phil. I really enjoy Phil these days.
I do like Phil. I like Rahm.
phenomenal.
I want Rahm. Keep it going.
Johnny Rahm.
Keep Rahm
His
going.
backswing
Rahm.
it doesn't make sense to me.
Nope.
Did you hear his?
30.
His what?
Did you hear the answer on that he gave at the British Open?
No.
Born with a club foot, so he does not have the same ankle strength in his right. He kind of lashed out at a guy like, "Hey, this is why. It's not because of tight hips or whatever." Gave this incredible thing. His right ankle isn't as strong as his left, so the only way for him to generate power is that way.
Listen, I'm envious of it.
Remarkable.
I wish I could have that kind of control. You've seen my backswing. Not short.
No, it is. I'll go Rory. I like Rory as a human, so I'd like to see him get it done again. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun tomorrow.